All right. I just want to, well, everybody's out jamming and stuff like that, having kind of like the party before the hurricane. I guess that's universal in the world. I just wanted to tell you, look, if we wind up going into this reverse split, merger slash dilution, in the process of it, obviously there will be a lot of things that have to be covered. The shorts, not so much because they can grab shares on the other side, but a lot of the FTDs, they'll be covered in that process because that process has to be taken care of. So you'll have a run up, just like Robinhood had to do a big purchase of COSM during the reverse split. It cost them a pretty penny too. So that being said, you will be able to get money, but I want to give you kind of like a comparison. This is similar to like in an IPO. In an IPO, you have no idea, what you're gonna get. You really don't. You only got a split minute of time to like make up your decision. Once the opening bell hits, you're out there trying to get as much. Is this a dip or or this? Wait a minute. Is it gonna correct? You have to do what you got to do. It's kind of crazy, but at the end of the day, this is what AMC is going towards because of the powers that be. Obviously, that's why nobody ever stepped in. Nobody ever stepped in to stop this. Well, how many days on the threshold list? I mean, come on, that's impossible. But nonetheless, not in this world, not this administration. That being said, try to do what you can to get the most that you can if you're going to sell. It's just one of these things. I'll write it out because at the end of the day, I'm looking at this like if it was an IPO now. Just that's how it is, the wild zone. We might get the TRO. We might get it because, press to the wire, the court might just go, no, here's a stay. Nothing's moving forward. And if we get that, yeah, we're going to celebrate that night, but just in case, I was telling a story yesterday on sometimes how you have this feeling in your body like something's not right, but you try to do the best of it. And at the end of the day, let's face it, sometimes things don't turn right. But anyway, I said this story I'll make you laugh on this. I was at a restaurant yesterday, and beautiful restaurant, the whole thing like that. It's just no big deal. But every time I go into a restaurant that's like over the top, beautiful ambiance, lighting, music, everything like that kind of stuff. One of those things. I always think back to when I was around 21, and I was on a date with this woman. She was amazing. The whole thing, whatever. She told me, listen, let's go to this restaurant I read about in Midtown. And I try to stay away from Midtown New York City restaurants like the Theater District because they're just like big tourist traps, and the food is normally horrible. So we went. Khadija wanted to go, so me, whatever. In for a penny, in for a pound. So we went to this restaurant, and I walked in, and the place was beautiful. It was dimly lit, had the candle lights and stuff like that. It was all this whole thing. It was like posh, the whole thing, but something wasn't sitting right with me. It just wasn't. Something was like not good. And the funny thing about it was that in the process of everything, like, I looked at the drinks and like the drinks came out. I'm like, okay, nice glasses. Everything's fine. I'm looking at everything. It just has like this dark, elegant feeling, but I couldn't sell myself on her. She's there, she's happy, pretty stuff, the hair, just the whole thing. And I'm just looking around like, all right, let me see if everybody else is enjoying their dinner. Because the Theater District and me, I just don't eat in those restaurants. Those are like, So I just kept looking around like, okay, is this going to be okay? Like, I don't know. But I never give up my spidey senses. I listen to my intuition on certain things. And let me tell you something, this is one of the reasons why. So, we placed our orders and I was like, okay, everything's going to be fine. I guess everything's fine. The night's going to continue. About 20 minutes later, when he comes back with our food, I mean, this place was an expensive restaurant. So I'm just going to let you know, it was one of those restaurants. Okay, so as the guy came back, the waiter, the whole thing like that, and he's bringing the food and stuff like that. It's really creepy dude. But nonetheless, he's bringing it in and she's happy and everything. I'm like, well, I guess I was wrong. Until in the candlelight, I looked and for some reason something caught my eye. There was like this fucking roach crawling down the dude's jacket. I was like, get the fuck away from me. I literally pushed this motherfucker back. And my date that night said, what are you doing? And the people said, what's going on? So he turned around and the candlelight, that roach was like, freeze, strike a pose. And People were screaming. It was all crazy. Like, let me tell you something. That night, it was kind of hilarious because I wound up going to a different part of town and just had some drinks. I didn't even eat. I couldn't. Like, for after that, I was like, I'm having a Snickers bar for like dinner. But my feeling, I didn't give up. It kept gnawing at me. When I saw that motherfucker just, I was like, I was like one of those things. I was like, dog. I ordered the filet mignon, not filet the fucking roach here, like for real. So anyway, those feelings that you have, sometimes you just gotta listen to them. So when you go in, if we go into this reverse split and the money starts going, you see numbers of that, trust your feelings, not what anybody tells you, because the last thing you want is like, you should have sold, motherfucker. I was like, yeah. All I can say is chances are we're not going to go into that reverse split, but if we do, giant hugs. I'll be back around later. That's fucked up.